All right, so today we're diving into something pretty exciting. A thriller, actually.
Ooh, thrilling. I like it.
It's called Eruption.
Eruption. Okay.
And get this, it's co-written by Michael Crichton and James Patterson.
Wow, that's a powerful duo. Two big names in suspense. What's the story about?
Well, imagine this. The world's largest active volcano, Hawaii's Mauna Loa, it's on the verge of a massive eruption.
Okay, that's already got my attention. Volcanoes, always a recipe for disaster.
Right. But here's the twist. There's a secret military operation happening inside the volcano. And they're dealing with this dangerous, super secret chemical agent called Agent Black.
Whoa, hold on. A secret operation inside an active volcano and some mysterious agent. Sounds like we're in for quite a ride.
Oh, absolutely. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, really. So what we're going to do today is unpack all this. We'll look at the themes, the science, the suspense, the whole shebang. You ready to dive in?
Definitely. Let's get to it.
Excellent. So first things first, we've got this classic human versus nature conflict, right? I mean, the volcanic eruption, that's nature at its most raw and powerful.
For sure. And it's a reminder of just how vulnerable we are in the face of these natural forces. But in this case, it's not just nature we're dealing with. We've got that added layer of, well, human interference or maybe even folly, you could say. I mean, a secret military operation within a volcano, what could possibly go wrong?
Right. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. And that's where this Agent Black comes in. It's not just some localized threat either. It's portrayed as this global level danger, like a potential pandemic situation.
Exactly. It's like Crichton is taking that idea of a contained threat, like in the Andromeda strain, and scaling it up to a global level. It makes you think about those what-if scenarios, the kind that keep you up at night.
Absolutely. It really gets
Yeah.
you thinking about the fragility of our ecosystem and the potential consequences of, well, messing with things we don't fully understand. So we've got this eruption, a potential global catastrophe with Agent Black, and a secret military operation trying to contain it all. But how do we actually experience all this as readers?
No, that's one of the things that makes this book really interesting. We see this crisis unfold through the eyes of several different characters. Scientists, government officials, everyday people caught in the chaos. Each perspective adds a different layer to the story. It's not just one person's experience, it's a whole tapestry of experiences.
I see. So it's like we get a more multifaceted view of the disaster and its impact on different people.
Yeah, exactly. It adds a lot of depth and complexity to the narrative. You see how people react differently to the same situation, how they make choices under extreme pressure. It's really engaging.
That makes sense. Now, the review we've got here, it highlights both the strengths and, maybe some potential weaknesses of the book. The fast-paced narrative, the scientific accuracy, those are praised. But it also mentions things like maybe the characters aren't super deeply developed and the plot might be a little predictable in places. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's true that if you're looking for deep introspective character studies, this might not be the book for you. But honestly, the characters are well drawn enough to keep you invested in their fates. And sure, there are some familiar thriller elements, but they're handled really effectively. You've got Crichton and Patterson. They're masters of suspense.
Right. They know how to keep those pages turning. I guess it's about finding that balance, delivering a thrilling story, while still exploring those deeper themes about, human responsibility, the environment, choices we make when facing a crisis.
Definitely. And I think Eruption does a great job of that. It's entertaining, thought-provoking, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat.
So for those who are hooked and want to explore similar themes, the review recommends a few other books. Some of them, like The Andromeda Strain by Crichton and Dan Brown's Inferno, I've heard of. But what about The Swarm and The Hot Zone? Those sound pretty intriguing.
Oh, yeah. Those are great choices. They all touch on these ideas of global threats, the power of nature, and the choices we make in the face of disaster. The Swarm imagines this, terrifying scenario where insects turn against humanity, and the Hot Zone, that one delves into the real-life dangers of deadly viruses. Pretty intense stuff.
It sounds like it. So basically, if you're into stories that blend science, suspense, and those big what-if questions about humanity's survival, these books are right up your alley.
Absolutely. They'll keep you thinking long after you finish reading.
So let's sum up. Eruption. It's this explosive mix of science, suspense, and ethical dilemmas. We've got this ticking time bomb volcano, a secret military operation, and a global threat in the form of Agent Black. It forces us to confront the fragility of our world and the consequences of our actions.
It really does. And it makes you wonder, What would you do in that situation? If you had to make a choice, knowing that there would be huge sacrifices no matter what would you choose?
That's a powerful question. And it's one that I think we all need to consider, not just in the context of a fictional story, but in our own lives. What sacrifices are we willing to make for the greater good? What are our responsibilities to each other and to the planet? It's something to think about for sure.
I agree. It's a question that stays with you.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into Eruption. It's been a fascinating conversation.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Always happy to delve into a good thriller.
Until next time, keep those pages turning and those minds wondering.